Hello everyone, I'm Guido Grinbaum, and welcome to module number 3 of this course on microcredentials. In the previous modules, we looked at what they are, how they work, and why they are transforming education. Today we're going to tackle a fundamental topic, how a university can govern and manage a microcredential system without losing its academic quality. Because issuing a microcredential is not just pressing a button, it's making a promise of value, a promise to the student, to employers, and to society. And that promise has to be supported by clear policies, transparent academic criteria, and well-defined institutional structures. Without governance, microcredentials become just noise. With governance, they become trust. The world's leading universities understood this very quickly. They all built formal models of academic governance for microcredentials. Why? Because they saw that without a common framework, each faculty would create its own system, its own logos, its own criteria, and over time, that would fragment the institution's reputation. There are three main ways to organize governance. The centralized model, where an institutional office sets the rules, approves the credentials, and controls quality. The decentralized model, where each faculty designs and issues credentials under minimal guidelines. And the mixed model, which combines both. Central oversight with local autonomy. There is no single correct model, but there is a universal principle, institutional coherence. The centralized model, as used at the University of Melbourne, ensures order and quality. There, a steering committee exists with academic, technical, and workforce engagement representatives. The decentralized model, like SUNY's, allows for more freedom and innovation, but it requires a solid foundation of common standards, and the mixed model, like that of Tec de Monterrey, works very well for large universities. There are institutional guidelines, but each school designs its programs according to its own context. Any university that wants to implement microcredentials should draft an institutional policy document, even if it's brief. This document sets out the 6 basic governance rules, which are which courses can award credentials, what is the required format and minimum metadata, who approves new credentials, how are they issued and recorded, what happens if a credential needs to be revoked or updated, and how are they recognized externally in other frameworks or universities. This is not just an administrative exercise, it's the foundation of trust. When a university defines these rules, it can grow without losing control. Without these policies, typical problems arise. Courses are announced without approval. There are gaps with inconsistent designs, or credentials are issued without real assessment. Academic governance exists precisely to prevent innovation from turning into chaos. Who should participate in this process? Ideally, all the university's strategic areas. The rectorate or academic vice-rectorate sets the vision and approves the general policy. The faculties and schools design the content. The educational technology department integrates issuance into the ELMS. Academic quality ensures coherence and evaluation. And institutional relations connects with companies and external organizations. Each actor has a role, but all must work under the same framework. Some universities have already created digital credential offices. Interdisciplinary teams are responsible for supporting faculty. They audit quality, train the faculties, and maintain relationships with technology providers. For example, the University of Melbourne reviews each new proposal according to 3 criteria: professional relevance, academic integrity, and institutional alignment. Every 6 months, they audit the results and adjust policies. In Ireland, Dublin City University integrates microcredentials into its national qualifications framework. Each one has formal credit equivalence, which provides assurance to both students and employers. And Tec de Monterrey in Latin America included them within its lifelong learning model, with academic approval and centralized technical review. 3 examples, 3 continents, but the same principle: coherence and traceability. Good governance also involves a clear institutional cycle from proposal to review. First, the faculty proposes a new credential, then a committee evaluates it, after which it is approved and assigned a code. The course is delivered, the outcomes are assessed, and at the end, the digital credential is issued. Each year, its framework and validity are reviewed. This cycle creates traceability and turns each credential into a verifiable process, not an experiment. The most common mistakes when starting out are 4. First, uncontrolled proliferation, too many credentials without a common policy. Second, lack of internal recognition. Teachers do not value them or do not understand them. Third, loss of prestige. Issuing without rigor erodes the university's brand. And fourth, disconnection from the job market. Credentials that certify irrelevant skills. Each problem has a solution, but only if there is a structure in place. That is why governance frameworks must include mechanisms for constant review and updating. Microcredentials are not static. The job market changes, and the university must adapt without losing its academic rigor. In Europe, many institutions are already incorporating microcredentials into their institutional quality assurance processes. In fact, ENQA and IQAR are updating the ESG standards to include them within regular higher education audits. Governance does not mean rigidity, it means clarity. It means that every new credential issued strengthens the university's brand instead of diluting it. And that can only be achieved with transparent policies, coordinated teams, and a shared long-term vision. As the European Consortium for Microcredentials said in 2024, institutional quality is the currency of digital learning. In summary, microcredentials are not a technological experiment, they are a natural extension of the educational mission. But for them to be sustainable, they require governance, standards, and traceability. Trust cannot be decreed, and in the academic world, governance is the cement that holds that trust together. In the next module, we will explore how universities can connect their microcredentials with the job market and employers, so that education stops being just a promise and becomes concrete evidence of value. Thank you for joining me, and I'll see you in the next module.